Disciple, let us go to the other side of the river,
Let's
and
go.
to a desolate place.
Let's go.
Disciple, this is not so desolate. The crowds seem to have followed us. But we will show compassion on them because they looked like a sheep without a shepherd.
So, how about we send them into the town to get some food?
No, we're going to feed them.
How can we do that? We don't have any money.
We're going to gather up what they have. So go gather them up.
Okay. Hey there, little boy. What do you have there?
I have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
You mind sharing that with a few people?
I do not mind. My mom helped me fish this morning.
Well, let me take you to our master.
Now let's distribute this all to the people.
You want a fishing pole too?
I do not. Everyone has enough to eat. I have provided. So the story you just watched was found in Mark 6:30, and this story takes place right after the disciples and Jesus have just gotten done doing a lot of ministry work, and Jesus suggests, like, hey, let's go across this river and let's get some rest. And instead of getting rest, like, the crowds find Jesus and the disciples, and Jesus decides, no, instead of like leaving, like, we're gonna have compassion on them, because they looked like sheep without a shepherd. And so Jesus has compassion on them. And then towards the end of the day, the crowds are getting hungry, and the disciples suggest, like, hey, send them to their hometown, so that they can get food. And Jesus says, no, like, we'll feed them. And to which, like, the disciples are like, how are we going to feed them? Because they didn't have any money. They couldn't just buy so much food because there were a lot of people. And so that's where Jesus provides. And so that's where the story ends, but there's a lot of stuff within that story. This story teaches us that Christ is compassionate to people, even if his plans didn't work out to go to a desolate place and rest. Jesus never lost sight of the fact that being compassionate to people is what's most important. And so that's a really great lesson that we can learn but also a lesson that Christ can provide in any situation. Christ is capable of providing the means to care about people and serve people. And so this story is relevant to us because in our day and time it can be easy to get caught up in our plans. Well, I've got this to do, like, I'd love to help you, but I've got this to do. And it's a reminder not to let our plans distract us from sharing compassion with those around us and loving on those people, because that's what Jesus knew it was all about, and so that's what he did. And also to trust God that he can provide, he can make ways for us when we don't think there is a way, like the disciples. A commentary I read called the New Bible Commentary says that to obey Jesus and get the eager, hungry crowds sat down in orderly groups must have tested their faith that he could do something about the situation. And it probably did test their faith, but after all, like, Jesus is faithful and provides, and really gives us a great passage of scripture to learn from his example and his nature. And so that's really what I got out of my favorite New Testament story.